What up, world? So, I failed at Whatnot. Psych, I'm just kidding. I didn't fail at Whatnot. But, there was a time where I felt like I failed at Whatnot, and I felt like I wanted to share that story with you guys. This story will be, I feel like, very important for people who are just joining a hobby or new to the hobby. And then I think people who are well into the hobby will appreciate this story who really love and are passionate about the hobby, because this is a story of passion for the hobby. So essentially, I want to tell my story. I As a kid, I always loved basketball, and still to this day, I love sports, to be totally honest, but basketball is my number one sport. Played it as a kid growing up. I still play it to this day. I love the NBA. I always played football as a kid, never organized. I was more of a basketball and a track runner. But I love the Dallas Cowboys, so I always had a big love for the NFL. So as a kid, I grew up collecting sport cards because I love those sports. I just collected them because I thought that it was cool to have cards, and my friends had cards and we would trade them and, just go over them and have fun. After a while, I feel like I may have grew out of them. And unfortunately, when my parents realized I grew out of them, they kind of got rid of my cards. All good. I'm sure this has happened to millions of people in the world. What got me back into it, though, was when I had my son. My son, Kyrie, he was born in 2021. So I thought, why not start collecting cards, so when he gets older we can have a hobby and have something to, having something in common as we grow, just to grow up and have. So I figured, why not just start collecting cards now, so when he gets older we can have a whole situation together. So I started collecting cards, started getting them from like Five Below, Target, and things like that. And I would just collect them, and I would talk to him about them, and like, even though he didn't understand, it was just something to mess with him with, just to have fun. But after that, I kind of probably for like the first 2-3 months collected cards. After that, kind of died out. Fast forward to today in 2026, I had a friend of mine who was big into Pokemon, and I went to visit him, and his passion for like chasing cards had me like, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, he's getting explained to me kind of like the card industry, and I'm like, oh, well, I like basketball cards and I got some. So I figured, well, why not pick it up and see where I can go? And once I dove in, I have not stopped yet. I have been going. I would say since April of 2026 is when I went to visit my friend. Since then, I have been fully delved into the hobby. I mean, I love what it is. I love the people in it. I love that it's something centered around sports. I love that it's something that you can make money off of. I love it's something that you collect. I love pretty much all the different aspects of what it comes to collecting in the hobby of sport cards or cards in general. So what I first started doing, I guess, now that I started getting revamped, I really started collecting more cards and just collecting more cards and trying to find cooler cards. But I really didn't have a budget to kind of like build out, like to buy super expensive high-end cards. So I stuck with like I would go to the local card store, get some dollar cards here and there. And then once I found out about Whatnot, which was a big milestone, and I'm watching and I'm seeing people, sell these cards or auction these cards off that started $1 going for $3-4. I'm like, man, I got some of these cards. I can do this. And the entrepreneur in me is like, yeah, man, like, yo, do this. So I went fully dove into it. I started getting even more cards. I built up an inventory of about 300 cards, and I started doing Whatnot auctions. And essentially with it, I knew that it's going to be a grind. I'm still new to the hobby. I don't have a following or a big following yet. So I knew that this what it was going to be about, trying to grow that following. And my first show was pretty slow, but it was cool. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it. I had fun. My first 2 shows were pretty slow, but I had fun. I probably made all of $5 in those first 2 shows. But the third show I had, I will say I saw a spike. I went from like 1 order in the first show, 2 orders in the second show, to the third show, 12 to 15. It was like 12 or 15 orders for $60. And I'm like, whoa, see, I knew I can do this. And I had a system. I track all my cards. I wake up, I look at my inventory, like I said, I track them, and I put them into my list so I can have them into auction boxes. So I'm like, hey, I got a system here. And I would go on, and then I had another bang out day where I made like another $40 or $50. So I'm like, okay. So the very next week comes, and the first day is a little slow. Second day is even slower, and then the third day is slow, and then the fourth one after that, I'm like, oh, okay. And it discouraged me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I realized the biggest thing from those auctions, and this is what I can say to anybody, this is the juice that I can give anybody starting out trying to do whatnot auctions or just starting out in the hobby. Even if you don't feel as though, if this is something you want to do, is the whatnot auctions, even though you may not feel like you're ready, just start. Because the information and the data that you get from those auctions is more valuable than the $5 I was making, more valuable than the $60 I was making. It's extremely great information that you can learn about the market running these auctions, because you get to see it firsthand what the market is looking for. And I feel like I definitely gave out a lot of great deals and steals and was able to build up an inventory. Like I ended probably, I'm sitting at probably like a little over 100, maybe like $110 in my whatnot account from my first, probably let's say 9 shows. And you know, that's cool because now I have that revenue to reinvest into my business and my move moving forward. Because of all the information that I've learned inside of doing the whatnot auctions, I have a totally new strategy, and I now have some money to use to go into that. So you know, that was a great chapter and a milestone, and I'm not done with whatnot. I'm still going to be running whatnot shows, but at first I had a strategy of maybe like, at first I started out with 3 a week, and then I did 4 the next week, and then I was like, man, I'm about to just go every day a week. But that's not the best strategy for where my company is. So I'm pivoting into a much more effective strategy. But I never would have knew any of this if I didn't start doing whatnot. And I'm telling you guys, if you're new to the hobby and this is something you really want to do, just start, man. I mean, you guys seen the platforms with nothing in the background. I've seen one with like teddy bears in the background. They're selling basketball cards. It doesn't matter. Just get started, bro. There's so many different people in the hobby looking for whatever. And if you got deals and steals, they'll find you. They'll find you. And so just get started, man. So that is what this video is about, man. Just letting you guys know that it's very, to me, starting out in this pet hobby has been great. And most and biggest tip I can give to newer people in the hobby, just like myself, if you're interested in doing whatnot auctions, do them so you can start getting that information to figure out what's best for your strategy moving forward in the hobby.